Captain, there's an iceberg in front of the ship. An iceberg? Yeah, we need to turn around so we don't crash into it and die. Nah. Alright, now what if I were to tell you that this never actually happened? Now, according to The Truth, a giant ship called the Titanic went out to sail full of passengers, but then it hit an iceberg and sank to the bottom of the ocean, thus killing lots of people, and I guess some people kind of like survived. That's cool. But let me just tell you right now that that's not true. According to my super reliable sources, the Titanic actually never went out to sail full of passengers in the year 1912. And whenever it did go out to sail, it never crashed.
But Nasir, my grandmother boarded the Titanic in the year 1912, and she said that the ship hit an iceberg and it sank to the bottom of the ocean, but she luckily survived. Are you calling my grandmother a liar?
If your grandmother says that she boarded a giant ship called the Titanic in the year 1912 and it crashed and sank to the bottom of the ocean, I would believe that. But what if I were to tell you that wasn't the Titanic? Have you ever heard of this ship called the Olympic? Probably not. Basically, it's an off-brand Titanic. You know how Alvin and the Chipmunks is Alvin and the Chipmunks? The Titanic is basically Alvin, and the Olympic is like Theodore or Simon's bitch ass. According to my sources, there was a really shady guy. I kind of forgot his name. It's very forgettable. But apparently this guy's bills were way too high this month, so he decided to cash in by using this Olympic to commit insurance fraud. This guy basically got a bunch of people to paint the Olympic ship to be the exact same color as the Titanic and tell the insurance once the ship inevitably would crash that the Titanic has sunk. I can't believe the whole OceanGate situation where a bunch of rich billionaires went to the bottom of the ocean and imploded and died, allegedly. Probably. No, they're dead. It's just crazy how they went through all of that just to visit the Titanic. That's probably not even the Titanic. I'm risking my life to go in the OceanGate submarine to visit the Ozempic? The Olympic? Hell no. That's some bullshit. And yes, with that being said, the entire Titanic operation was an inside job. The Olympic ship was not only a less popular version of the Titanic, but it was also way older than the Titanic and in much worse condition. So they decided instead of just not using this thing anymore, let's just crash this bitch into the side of an iceberg and collect a fat insurance check and kill a bunch of people in the process. No, like seriously, this guy made sure to have people that were a threat to his business and just people he didn't like on this ship, just so that when it crashes and they inevitably die, they're no longer in this world, and that's a good thing for him, I guess. So if you happen to step on this guy's all-white Air Force Ones like a month prior to this, you probably were on the Titanic and yeah, he got your bitch ass killed. But what sank the ship? Was it really an iceberg? Because I got a few sources that are telling me otherwise. According to one of my sources, the Titanic was sunk by a German U-boat. I don't even know at this point, like, was this supposed to be the Titanic or the Olympic? Am I mixing conspiracy theories? The world will never know. All I know is that if the Germans really sank that ship with their U-boats, that's pretty fricked up, man. No hate towards any Germans, but if I was there, I wouldn't tolerate that level of disrespect. A second conspiracy on the internet is that the Titanic was never meant to survive when it went out to sail in 1912 due to a mummy curse. So basically there was this mummy curse happening right before the Titanic sank, causing destruction in London. And apparently this British guy claimed that it was gonna sink the Titanic before the Titanic sank. I honestly have no clue if we're talking about the Titanic or the Olympic at this point. But after he claimed that the mummy curse would sink the Titanic sinks? That's pretty fishy. So option A is that a sketchy man got somebody to crash the ship into the side of an iceberg to cash out on a fat insurance check and maybe kill a few people in the process. Option B is that the Germans, they just wanted to murder some people because, screw you, I guess. Or option C, a mummy curse doomed the Titanic from the very beginning. But also there's always option D, a wild Blastoise was in the water and just shot that shit down. So if the Titanic actually was switched out with the Olympic, then where is the Titanic today? Well, according to my sources, the Titanic actually survived the year 1912 despite popular belief. And it actually survived quite a few years after that. But it got scrapped for parts in 1935. They're probably using the parts of the Titanic to this day. They're probably using that shit to build Toyota Tacomas in like Nashville or some shit. At the end of the day, everything I said could be true or it could be false. I'll let you decide that part.